Hello, and welcome back to Paleo Pines. This is something a little bit different this evening, where normally I would record the footage and my voice simultaneously, kind of like a live reaction, but I recorded on the wrong microphone for this episode, so there is an audio track with the original, voiceover, but the quality is quite poor, and I've decided to record over it separately with new audio. So basically the original footage with new voiceovers. So there might be a little bit of a misalignment between what's happening on screen and what I'm talking about, and that's just because they've been recorded at two different times. So as you can see here, well, I'm just going through the journal at the moment, but we've come across our first rare dinosaur. So at the start of this video I had planned to complete a quest with Owen, to find the 3 pages for Owen's journal, and as I set off out of the farm I found this guy. Straight away, drop everything and let's get this guy tamed. Even though arguably we don't need another Styra, it's our first rare dinosaur, our first rare skin, so it was like, let's get this done. So that's what you're seeing on screen here. I had a little bit of an agenda, I suppose, and the agenda went out the window as soon as we loaded into the valley. So every time we try and tame a dinosaur, I forget how to do it, basically. So here I'm just like trying to get that arrow right down the middle. But I think we don't actually need to do that. Because the befriend option is available on the left hand side there. So I've got the green arrow, the arrow in the green region I should say, ready to go. Luckily I had Juicy Poppins on me. I wasn't sure were they the correct ones. I checked the journal, they were. I guess I had them in my inventory from last time, and were able to successfully tame this Styra first try. So, normally if you're familiar with the other videos on this series, I always forget what to call the dinosaur, or rather I haven't thought of a name. In this instance, instead of taking 10 minutes, taking a 10-minute pause, I immediately know what I'm going to call this guy, and I go with Toothless, the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. Obviously, like, I would have preferred a raptor or maybe a T-Rex to be Toothless, but this guy has the perfect eyes. He's got that kind of pattern on his frill, so it looks like Toothless's scales, the green eyes, whatever. So that's why we went with Toothless. And as I said, derailed the agenda a little bit. This dinosaur had to be tamed immediately, in case he despawned, or in case we lost him, or in case we didn't get another chance. So not a lot of forethought went into it. And as we've come back onto the farm, I've realised I don't exactly have anywhere suitable for Toothless to live in. So that's what I'm talking about. You can see the camera kind of swaying back and forward here, and I'm going from pen to pen in different instances here. I'm trying to figure out where to put this guy, because he was an unplanned tame. So he's thrown in here beside Benji and Layla, Lucky and Gunter, just because that's the easiest thing. The 2 Ankylosaurus, Sherman and Fury. Sherman has just become a happy helper, so I don't want to affect his mood, I suppose. I don't want to negatively impact him and lose his helper status. And then similarly with Clark Kent, we have Clark Kent as a happy helper, and he has been for a while now. So I don't want to add someone to his pen and then lose all that progress, because we need Clark Kent to become a happy helper. He's been a happy friend for ages. So that's why Toothless got flung in with the others. So what I'm doing now, in the background, I've sorted out Toothless, and we've started the quest for Owen for his 3 journal pages. So you leave the farm and you head north to the wooden bridge, and as you cross the wooden bridge, on the right hand side there's these bushes, and that's where the first journal page is. So for those that don't know, there's 3 pages. The first two are locations just in the wild, like this one here, for example. The third one you can only get by taming a carnivore and bringing it to marry. I forget the name of the dinosaur, but it's basically the dinosaur we tamed. Apollo is his name. The dinosaur we tamed in the last episode. That's who we had to bring to marry to get the third page. So when you're looking for the second page, you come from the wooden bridge, you turn right, you go down the hill a little bit, and it's on your left hand side in that bush as you just seen. So I said, you know, the agenda for this video was to kind of do a little bit of a tutorial. Tutorials aren't really my vibe. Really, I'd be cheating if I was doing tutorial videos, because I'd have to go and look up how to do stuff first and then do a tutorial video right after. It's a little bit of copy and paste. So as you can see here on the map, you can see where we are with this red circle. Basically, you come out of the farm, head straight north, and that's where Owen's pages are. Once you have all three, you go back down south, so back away from the wooden bridge, and then when you get to the bottom of the hill, you turn left and you arrive at Owen's house. So this is Owen here, with the exclamation mark above his head, obviously, because it's a quest. So we'll see what Owen has to say here. So we've just completed that quest there with Owen. It's taken us quite a while, but I was really reluctant to do that quest because it brings in the carnivore side of things. So up until now, in this series, I think this is episode 26 or 7, up until now it really has been farm, harvest, sell, rinse and repeat, just to be able to feed our dinos. And in the background, you know, we've been trying to expand our farm, or rather our ranch. So we've been taming dinosaurs to break rocks, to break logs, to cut down the fiber bushes. And because of that, it's cost us money, you know. So we've really just been like, it's almost been like a closed loop where we make money to feed our dinos make us more money, you know. Introducing a carnivore into that mix makes it harder. It puts more stress on the system, but it's just something we had to do to complete this quest, and we have. And it is nice to have a carnivore. It's another, you know, mechanic that we have to manage, and you know, it encourages us to expand our farm and, you know, earn more money and, you know, sell higher quality crops and stuff as well using fertilizer. So, you know, we managed to complete the agenda for this episode here, complete a quest with Owen, and now we need to consider where to put Toothless. An unplanned tame, we don't really have the space for him, so where does he go? Does he go in Yuri's pen, Athena's pen, or Benji's pen? Here beside me. So he's currently in Benji's pen, as I said, just for convenience really. We really don't want to affect Fury and Sherman's pen, for a few different reasons. So this pen is 100 meters squared. Ankylosaurus need 50 meters squared each. So, you know, 50 plus 50 is 100. And I'm really reluctant to change this pen layout to make it bigger just to accommodate Toothless. Again, another consideration is that Ankylosaurus are pack. You know, population of 2. If we add Toothless in there, it goes up to 3. You know, so the guys here are happy. They're packs. They need to be packs. They are packs. They're happy out. Another consideration is Apollo, so our first carnivore. His pen at the moment is loner status because he's by himself, but his species are actually herd. So I need to go and tame 2 new Poliophysis, or at least 2 new carnivores, to make Apollo happy. Otherwise, Apollo's going to be a little bit lonely, and it's going to be really hard to get him tamed as a happy helper. He'll stay our happy friend, or probably an unhappy friend because he's so lonely. But we need to get that population up. We need to get him up to a herd status to keep him happy, which means 2 new tames. Same with the Kentrosaurus. So if we move Clark Kent from this pen purely to accommodate Toothless, Clark Kent has to go into a new pen. Carnivores and herbivores can't go together, so that means creating a new pen just for the Kentrosaurus, and he is also a herd animal. So if we create a new pen just for Clark Kent, we're gonna have to get 2 new dinosaurs just to accommodate Clark Kent. So we can't really move Clark Kent around without upsetting him too much. If we put him into a pen by himself, he's gonna be unhappy, and that affects our happy helper, and we really need to get Clark Kent to be a happy helper. So at the moment, there's not enough room for Toothless, basically. Benji's pen is 120 meters squared. We've 5 dinosaurs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we need 125. So we're 5 meters squared short. So I think just from, looking at the footage here, I'm trying to work out the best place to put him. And our options are limited. We're trying to, minimize the impact to all of our dinosaurs, not just Toothless. We don't want to make one dinosaur happy and make other dinosaurs unhappy. So looking at it here, like Styras are herds anyway. Gunter's happy because he's a pack animal. Although we only have 1 Pachycephalosaurus, I think he's happy where he is. The Gallimimus, I think, are herd as well, but they're happy because, they're in a pen with 5 dinosaurs instead of just 2. And that's where you can see the split socials here. So we do have a pack and we do have a herd going on. Basically, everyone in this pen is happy except Toothless, just because there's not enough space and he doesn't have a Dreamstone. But the undertaking involved in moving this Kentrosaurus is huge. We need a new pen that's 75 meters squared, so 25 times 3. And more importantly, it's 2 new tames. Kentrosaurus eat 2 herbivore food a day. 3 Kentrosaurus is 6 per day. And we don't really have the means to pay for that for now. So just looking at the pens here, I also don't want to touch this pen in the corner. It's nice and cozy, it's nice and tucked away, and I really like the vibe of it. Like it's like this little cozy forest for the Styras. And Clark Kent was never meant to be there permanently. It's just, a temporary solution for Clark Kent. As I said, we don't want to touch this pen. It's very basic and empty and plain, but the 2 Ankylosaurus are happy, and we don't want to change that because we need them for clearing out the farm. So after all that deliberation, we're gonna summon Toothless here, and we're gonna move him on. Hopefully he'll follow us. The Styras are a little bit slower, but eventually we will get Toothless into this pen over here. Make this his home. And then we're going to move Clark Kent down. So, Clark Kent is unhappy. Toothless is happy. So basically we've just traded positions there, we did talk about impacting Clark Kent's happiness. There was a lot of back and forth there, a lot of thinking about numbers and packs and herds and all this kind of thing. But I think let's make one change at a time. So the Styra pen is the Styra pen. And as I said, I don't really want to change that corner. I like the way it looks. It suits the Styras. It's big enough for the Styras. We're not going to need more than 3 Styras. And we have 2 pet names, Hades and Athena. If you want to know about their stories, I guess check out the other episodes. And we have 1 rare Styra. So in my opinion, we don't need to tame any more. And that's our little corner. Now we have Clark Kent to deal with. He's going to have to go temporarily into Benji's pen just until we sort it out. So what I'm looking for here in this footage, you can hear a lot of mouse clicks, I suppose, in the background. As part of completing Owen's quest, we were given a turnip, and for the life of me, I actually couldn't find it earlier in my inventory. I assumed it was sent directly to the house, but I think it was actually in my inventory all along. And after clearing out my inventory, I've obviously moved it from my person into the house. But I spent a little while looking for this, and I suppose it's a new crop, right? We haven't seen turnips before in our game, so what I'm hoping to do here is plant it. I don't think we actually get to that this episode, but from what I can see, we're not able to plant that turnip in our farm because it's a crop, not a seed. But it would be nice to get some turnips going. One of our quests, I believe, is to deliver 3 turnips to Mary. So we are going to have to figure out this this turnip business. So I have 2 gates in this pen, really just for access. We spawn into the game there, so it's an access point near the house. And then this access point up here is, you know, just for convenience to get to and from the farm. But it's a little bit overkill for now. This pen isn't finalized either. So for argument's sake, we're just putting in a large dreamstone to keep Toothless happy. Or sorry, Clark Kent. It was originally Toothless's. So this pen is still a little bit too small. So you can see why I had the 2 gates in there. You know, it's quite a journey from the bottom of the pen to the top of the pen just because it's so long. But I'd rather not have a gate right beside a dreamstone. In fact, I don't think you can actually place a gate beside a dreamstone. Maybe that's something for us to look into. But yeah, that's where we are now. We've managed to get Clark Kent happy again, at least temporarily, because he has his dreamstone. But we do need to expand the farm, which is what we'll do very shortly. I think for now we will focus on the farm. I think there's some crops and stuff to be watered, and rather than making, you know, let's make short work of it, let's get our Gallimimus on the go here to water our crops and actually, you know, use our dinosaurs for what we need. So I guess what I noticed when I was playing this is there isn't like a hitbox per se. So you'll see now what I mean. The spray is limited to X amount of squares, but it would be nice to know which squares are being highlighted, just to basically improve the aim a little bit. You'll see here, I think I need to do this 3 or 4 times rather than just 2 or 3, because I don't know actually what I'm covering. You know, it's kind of hard to aim. So a little kind of like, see this blue box here, the white and blue boxes around the crops. I would like to have that with the Gallimimus just so I know what I'm aiming at. But you know, pretty minor complaint to be honest. And we always have our watering can as an option. So you can see our stamina at the top of the screen is 0 out of 50. And it's nice, I suppose, that that's a case that when your stamina does run out, you just kind of fall over, or you're slowed down. Rather than, like, you know, collapsing and having your day end like Stardew Valley. And you can see here the effect that fertilizer has on our crops. So I think this is our first crop that we've harvested with 3 stars. You could see it there in my inventory when I highlighted it with my mouse. 3 out of 3 stars for our spring onions, which I think is a first for us. So because our stamina is so low, I decided to go to sleep, even though it's quite early on in the day. Just to make things easy, really. In doing so, one of our crops withered because it wasn't harvested in time. But you know, so be it. I don't think I watered all the crops either, which is obviously a factor there. So hop back on our Gallimimus here, our poor Benji. I'm pretty sure it does. Maybe we can tell at the top here the experience level, but I hope that by watering the crops with Benji, it increases his level. I can't remember if it does. It doesn't seem like our level 3 indicator moved there. But hopefully over time, using Benji to water the crops and Layla, it'll increase their level. Because it's nice to use all our dinosaurs, you know, rather than just focusing on one. And it kind of feeds into the why have 3 styras, you know, why not just have 1? Low level dinosaurs don't have a lot of stamina, So if you have 3 Styras, you can get 3 times the amount of work done, obviously. As they level up and their stamina gets higher and higher, you could probably get away with just having 1. But I think for this early stage, there's no harm having multiple dinosaurs of one type. And it's maybe going to be an issue down the line where we're going to want to tame more and more dinosaurs, and we're going to have, you know, less and less space as we progress, and we're going to have to make some hard decisions about who we keep and who we don't keep. In terms of, like, you can release your tamed dinosaurs into the wild. For obvious reasons, I don't want to get rid of any of the OGs. So any dinosaurs that have pet names, I'm really reluctant to let them go, because they're not just a dinosaur. They're not just a happy helper. They have meaning to me. So, you know, Athena and Hades will hang on to. Benji and Layla, yeah, we'll hang on to them. But maybe, you know, Fury or Sherman, we might let one of them go. Toothless, another kind of generic name, we might have to let Toothless go at some stage, but we'll see. We might get away with it. You know, the longer we wait as well to let them go, the higher the level. So, you know, we could get, eventually at some stage, we could get a black Gallimimus and call it Benji. You know, because my dog Ben was a black Labrador. Benji was a black Labrador. So it would be nice to have a black Gallimimus. But if this Benji, this green Benji, if that's level 17, and I'm trading it for a level 1 just for the sake of color or rarity, I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? So, look, we'll deal with those issues as they come, you know? So, we're nearly finished the crops here. In the original audio, what I'm talking about here is, I guess, how proud I am of my channel. You know, in a year, in less than a year actually, you know, I've achieved my goal. I wanted to do 1 video a week for a year, so at least 52 videos. I think as of this upload, it's probably 56. I've recorded videos since this episode, so the numbers are a little bit funny in my head. But I've achieved my goal, and it's onwards and upwards. The reason I'm recording over this with a second audio is because, in my opinion, the quality wasn't good enough. I'm really proud of the content, the stuff that I talk about, the way I deliver the herd versus pack versus pen size discussion earlier on in the video. I feel it's really concise and clear and professional, but my mic quality just isn't there. And I didn't want to upload a video where I'm talking about, let's continually improve, let's make, you know, leaps and bounds, let's keep pushing forward. But then I upload a video with poor quality, poor audio quality, just because it suits me. You know, I could have just uploaded this video with the original version, and I could have called it a day. I like this recording. It's a shame about the voice, but I don't really have time. Let's just upload it. And that's not really the attitude I want to have with my YouTube channel. It's not just just get something out. You know, sometimes it is. You know, when I'm feeling sick, or you know, when I'm not really feeling up to it. You know, the old motto of just achieve something, just get something done. It doesn't matter what it is. But I do have a kind of minimum standard, and I do want to be moving forward. If it's only moving a step forward or moving a mile forward, it doesn't really matter to me, as long as it is forward. And I felt uploading a video with poor quality is a step backward. Especially with the equipment that I have. You know, I've spent money on this microphone. I may as well use it, lads. You know, I may as well put it to the test and actually utilize the equipment that I have. So that's where we are. That's why this is a little bit different this evening. It's also something new, right? Like, who says the way I've been doing it up until now is the right way? Maybe the better way of doing things is recording gameplay, saying nothing, and then just overlaying my voice onto that gameplay for a given topic. You know, today we're going to talk about pizza, and the Minecraft footage in the background is irrelevant. It's just, you know, it's essentially gameplay plus podcast rather than, you know, like a live reaction, as I said. But I do like the way I do it. I do like the live reactions. It kind of gives you more opportunity to be natural, and you know, in the moment things pop up. You know, so like we haven't died in my Minecraft series yet. The first time I die, I want that to be a live reaction. You know, I don't want that to be a previously on this episode I died. You know, I want it to be a live reaction of how and when I die in the Minecraft series, because that's more authentic, right? So poor Apollo here, he's fed, he's watered, he's loved, but he is lonely, and we're gonna have to sort that out soon, for his own well-being. Herbivore food, you know, we've a lot of dinosaurs now, so herbivore food we need to keep an eye on. I think in the next few days we're probably going to run out. If I open my inventory here, I'll be able to tell you how much I have, but it does creep up on you, you know, especially with how the crops work. So you might need herbivore food tomorrow, but we can't harvest crops until, you know, 2 days, 3 days from now. So all of a sudden you have no money to buy food and all your dinos are upset. And I think the solution to that really is to, like, plant en masse. So, you know, whenever we do sell crops, we're earning thousands, not just hundreds or a couple tens. You know, we're earning a lot that can tide us over until the next harvest, basically. And that comes with the farm expansion. So I'm kind of just standing here now. I'm discussing my next steps for the next video. One of those next steps are off camera, you know, in the background, use our dinosaurs to expand the farm at the back here, or to the right, and to the left of us now with the logs. Conscious that, you know, you guys don't want to see that every video. So yeah, look, we'll finish up here. A little bit different. I hope it's okay. I'm not too comfortable with doing it this way. I've really struggled with the audio this evening, but I hope it's good enough. And look, on to the next one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And I'll see you soon.